our career of this game, this esport, as the athletes, so to speak.
The athletes. I don't think I've ever seen this.
When I put my voice out there and when I say things to you guys, and we're the ones dealing with it, we're the ones who are playing, and especially myself and my team, this is our job.
Like, the Gears Pro is so delusional, man. Like, saying, hey, you can't release an incomplete patch that lays the groundwork down because it might affect like these 10 pros. This ain't League of Legends, man. Like, League of Legends couldn't just break the game and then ruin the entire world pro scene and then be like, oh, well, we'll patch it later on. Like, there's about 10 Gears pros, man. So they thought, hey, what we'll do is we'll up the stray speed and up some of the other movements, see how it goes, and then we'll start tweaking, right? And these 10 pros are like, but me job, mate.
Guinea pigs, but our career is your guinea pigs. And as thankful as we are that you guys have created something that's given us...
They should be more than thankful. Like, Gears 5 Esports should not have even existed. They don't make any content. At this point, this was like January 10th, 2020. There was zero content. They didn't interact with the community. They didn't stream. They didn't do anything, right?
That seems horrible that our career is being used as a test subject. And I know that...
They make it sound like the other games don't do this. Bro, there are some patches where like some guy will be really good at Lee Sin and he'll be a Lee Sin jungler in the LCS. And then all of a sudden a Feral Flare comes out and it's busted and everyone's suddenly playing Udyr. And they've all got to figure out how to play Udyr and what the counter is to Udyr. That happens, man.
It might sound kind of harsh to some of you, but the reality is that's what's happening. And the great example of that is how
I can't imagine how annoying these people were to deal with.
Go to San Diego. We're flown out on a Wednesday afternoon per normal, or actually we were flown out on a morning. That's a whole different issue.
Is he moaning about did they fly him out? Is he moaning that he's getting free flights to a tournament? Bro, it's unbelievable. The like delusion level. It's staggering that Gears 5 Esports even existed. It doesn't exist anymore because it was just propped up by money that obviously now they're like
And we're not allowed to play on Thursday, which has been a thing that we've been allowed to do every single event for the past 3 years. We arrive on Wednesday, we have media day on Thursday, and whenever we're not doing media, we're allowed to play the game.
Do you not think it's crazy, like, the way they talk? Maybe I'm just delusional as well, but, like, saying stuff like we're on media day, we're not allowed to play. I think they have this thing in their head that they are, like, professional Gears players, and they might be professional Gears players by title, but in comparison to all the other esports, mate, like, it's nothing.
Then Friday, the tournament starts. This event, we're told Friday morning that we're going to be playing on a new version of the game, which is why you guys saw the skins and things like that. And I'm not the first one to say this. It's been out on Twitter. It's in the community. It's well known that we had to play on this new version of the game.
Here's the thing, right? They could theoretically double every single bloody value of the game. Run speed, walk speed, lancer damage, shotgun damage, and the basic reality is you'd probably still be using your lancer at long range, you'd still be trying to get up close with your shotgun, and you'd still be using a bit of cover and trying to capture. That's what they're basically saying, like, yo, this game ain't that deep that making a few tweaks, it's not actually going to change all that much. Like, yes, if you tweaked all of the values in CSGO, some guy might come up with some economy strategy round that's busted that then transforms into everyone using a pistol and like using an AR with a scope because it can tap fire, and now it can compete with an AK which cancels out, oh, this guy's got a helmet, all of that shit, right? Same with League of Legends, right? Tons of variables might mess it up, but with Gears, yeah, they increased a lot of the movement back in January 10th, but the idea that like all of a sudden that their magical strategy wouldn't work is like, bro, come on. Like, yeah, it's a little bit annoying having the game patch changed before a tournament, like a few days before or hours. But it's not League of Legends. They're not playing on the world stage for hundreds of millions with every sponsor under the sun like waiting for this game, and then they suddenly changed it. It's like, bro, it was Gears 5.
All teams, not just my own team, missed time shots that they would normally hit, And
I just love it. I love the idea. Like, I mistimed a shot that I normally would hit because he was running like 0.3 faster. Like, Gears is a very simple game. You just fucking shoot him where they are, mate.
caught off guard and a little bit awkward in a lot of fights where it normally wouldn't look that way. I've watched way more Gears of War than most people in the community, so trust me, when I see somebody, a player in particular, on my team or another team looking awkward, there's something wrong.
They don't care about, and rightly so. They didn't. I think this is really funny watching this back. Why would they care about the bloody Gears 5 esports scene?
This esport as the
He's in chat saying, can you revert the game update and finish it and then let us try it? Preferably not before a tournament. Like, this pro player here, whoever he is, Ashes, he's asking the studio to literally remove an entire game patch that has been certified, pushed through and updated, so a small ass esports scene can retest the entire thing and then see if they allow it to go online when nobody even plays the game at a pro level, or there was no ranking system, there was nothing going on, there was no, you know what I mean? Like, you were just playing random Joe Schmoes, that is the average player of Gears. Like, the average player of Gears doesn't care about the esports scene. So the idea that they should put the whole game on hold for them is just, frankly, hilarious.
Career of this game, this esport, as the athletes, so to speak,
the athletes
of this game isn't regarded or put in a high regard.
Why would the Gears 5 esports scene be put in a high regard? They didn't make, remember, this is 2010. They didn't make content. They didn't stream. They weren't very personable with anybody. They didn't stream. They blocked. They wouldn't scrim with people. They were completely toxic as fuck. They wouldn't scrim with certain teams. You know, why would they care about these athletes? It's like League of Legends pros bring in money. Like, people want to watch, people will fly out and go and watch Faker, or they'll go and watch a Flash play Brood War, and they will bring in money. These Gears people, they're not bringing in money, mate. I don't care what people say, they're not.
We were the guinea pigs, we were the test subjects, and then it was put out to you guys, and the overwhelming response has been negativity. If I go onto Twitter...
This is his metric, which was so funny. His metric about how the game is, he's going to Twitter, and we all know, like, it's a bloody stupid thing to look at, because for one, it's confirmation bias. If you go looking for a load of people that are angry, you're going to find it. What about all the people that are enjoying it? And two, like, you're in that clique of all of the Twitter idiots, mate. Like, the Twitter does not represent the player base.
And I type in Gears of War in the search, all of it, a majority of it, an overwhelming majority of it, is negativity.
I actually think, looking back at this, it's very funny. I actually think it's very funny looking back at this, because the way he's approaching it is like, I've tried not to do this. I've tried not to be confrontational. I've tried not to say this, but now I'm gonna have to come out and say something. But in reality, a random Gears esports player's opinion has no weight on the shape of Gears of War, and neither should it, because nobody gives a fuck about the esports scene. But the difference is, if, say, for example, Faker came out and said, hey, listen, I think the direction for League of Legends is wrong, we might stop playing it, SKT is going to stop playing it, whoever, TSM, Team Liquid are going to stop playing it because we don't like the direction. Riot Games would think, shit, these are like our star people, they're on huge contracts, the people watch their streams, it's massive advertisement, like hundreds of thousands of people watching their streams every day, we better listen to them. But he's coming out like, I'm going to come out and do that. Like, I'm going to come out and say, hey, listen, you should listen to me. And TC are just like, lol. I don't care, mate. I don't care about these sports. I think it's funny looking back on it.
And I feel like it's not working anymore. You can even see, funny enough, right here in the chat, I'm asking, Was the esports side considered at all when releasing this incomplete change at the time and the timing of that release, and voice their concerns and their opinions and their thoughts and their ideas to you guys? We've asked for ways to do this that are constructive and not Twitter, and we haven't been given those ways other than an email address. And realistically,
I bet you the email was just forwarded straight to junk. Yeah, send all your information, all of your balance ideas and your game mode ideas to the junk at Coalition.
in this community, do you expect are going to write a well thought out email as opposed to having a forum thread where it can be
Now what he's saying is how can you expect pros to write out a well thought out email? Just give us a forum. He basically says the reason your email address idea is shit is because our pros don't want to write an email. So give us something else. It's always like give us something else with the Gears 5 pro scene. He's asking for sort of an unmoderated forum between pro players to discuss like the game, and then have TC come in and read it. What do you think they're going to read? Do you think they're going to read somebody that's like done testing and like written out something nice, or do you think it's just going to be like people in there ripping on TC and talking shit about the game?
The brainstorming, the ability to come together and share ideas and thoughts and come up with a great idea together. And unfortunately, right now, it feels like there's this rift between the coalition and the community. And I'm going to specifically talk about the esports community, but I know based on what I've seen on social media that there's also a rift between coalition and their...
Here's the thing, bro. Like, I always used to say, I think it was like, you'll remember this, I always used to say in my videos, I think it's amazing that the developers did this. Like, I was so like pleased that they did this like format, and that's why I was surprised when people used to say, oh, you were this and that, and that's why they kicked you off. Because this guy says here, this stream format doesn't work, blah blah blah, this stream sucks. And I'm like, bro, where else did you get a game like a AAA game where like the main developers sit on the couch and literally discuss like random questions fired at them through a chat room? Like, they're not PR checked, they're not like, hey, here's a list of pre-approved questions. Oh, let's, like, they were just picking out random questions and then spitballing some answers and getting to like just a rough idea of how they were thinking and what they were thinking of. And people would shit on them for doing these streams, and I was like, bro, these streams are great. Like, what?
Visual player-based community, their content creator community, and several others. So my question is, why can't we be honest about it? Why can't we be transparent? Why can't we have these discussions together and come up with appropriate and well-timed solutions that makes people happy? Again, you have people in this pro community who play the game 8+ hours a day. They're playing it at the absolute highest skill level that you could possibly play what you've created at. So they've taken
what I love about this is he's saying they are playing, he's basically saying there in a nice way, they're playing your pile of dog shit at the highest level that's possible. As if like when you spectate Gears Pro games, everyone was sat there in awe going, oh my goodness, how are these pros doing it? Like when you watch a StarCraft pro have 500 APM, perfectly manage fights across 4 bases whilst microing Marines in and out of a dropship and splitting against Banelings whilst target firing and using ghosts, I sit there and I go, how the fucking hell is he doing that? He's playing at the peak of this game. When you would watch Gears, I've even sat and watched a video with Node, the guy on the stream, in my own stream, and we've watched an esports game where there was just like people just running at a hill for like 10 minutes. They're just running at a Lancer for like, they didn't go to the side, they just ran out the hill. Like,
found a way to perfect it and optimize it in its current state. That's what being a pro is. But for some reason, the opinions and thoughts of those people seem to be falling on deaf ears when given to the coalition.
I actually think looking back on it, it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic they ignored the pro scene. I mean, where's the pro scene now? Is it retired? Is it done? Are they out there making content? Like, what the pro scene could do is they could go out there and make a shit ton of content for the game and then be like, look, we're here, man. We like the game. We want to work with you. We're going to bring in sponsors. Look, I've made this series. Okay. 20,000 people are watching me every day. I've got Intel sponsoring me. And I'm thinking about bringing Intel into the Gears scene. And I'm going to host my own tournament. They're going to sponsor the prize pool. I'm going to, like, you know, like how when StarCraft 2 was kind of winding down, people started to host their own tournaments, create content, and make their own like prize pools. And then the esports scene kind of revamped itself because they were like, oh no, there is still money here. These guys just went, hey, fly us out. Oh god, your game's shit. Right, anyway, we'll get a few chicken nuggets and chips, mate, for our prizes. And Gears 5 will absolutely boost up the prize pool with just infinite money because it's Microsoft and money don't mean shit to them. And they'll prop up the scene and, you know, we're the athletes. But, like, no one fucking cares, mate.
To the community.
Clearly no one cares because Gears 5 Esports has died, right? And let's be honest, who cares, mate? A few people.
And you guys were given an award recently. You guys were given an award for being one of the top 10 best developers in the world of 2019. But we're not seeing that part of it.
I don't like these ones. I don't like these examples where they say, like, you were given an award for being the top 10 developer, but we're not seeing it. Like, it's a very polite way of saying, hey, you're a bunch of shit bastards. Well, I absolutely, I've never seen this video, but, like, this is crazy, man. Like, they're saying, but it's not cutting it. Like, they have to do more for the pro scene. Like, think about how funny this is. What's this guy called? Thy Ashes is saying, what you're doing's great, you've given us a career, but what you're doing isn't enough. You need to also make a perfect game, give us more cash, give us more time, and, you know, let us review patches, release patches later, give us more time, better tournaments, better gameplay, all of this stuff, right? What did TC get in return for all of that? Did they get a massive esports scene like League of Legends? Did they get really famous pro players that had huge followings with big sponsorships? Did they get people making content promoting their game for free? No, I think there was at one point, weren't there? I'd like probably at this point, January 10th, I'd probably made more videos on Gears 5 at this point than probably all the pros combined because they weren't making any videos.
I'm sorry to say it, it's currently not cutting it.
I love the fact he's saying it's currently not cutting it. As if, like, the pros are doing everything humanly possible to make the game thrive, and, like, it's the devs that have fucked it up.
So what can we do moving forward? Because I don't want this to just be a video where I bitch. And like I said, I haven't really thought out a script or a game plan for this video. I'm just upset that I'm honestly...
Look, there's our friend... Loved Macroon ringing a bell of shame against the developers. Oh, is that harassment I see? Is that harassment I see in the chat?
In a place where I'm upset. I started the year ready to make content about the game and ignore the downsides and the drama and the bullshit that we have to deal with as a community. And it's hard. We were silent.
I remember, oh, wait, is this the stream where they were timed out because they were spamming revert?
We were given PR answers rather than real answers.
Like, of course they're going to give PR answers, bro. They're not some indie team. These, like, they're not the three guys that made this game and are like, yeah, fuck, dude, we messed up that. We should have maybe released it on Wednesday, not Friday. Like, they work for Microsoft, bro.
I'm going to see the outrage that you're seeing on Twitter. It's why you're seeing the memes, and a lot of them are funny. A lot of them are funny, and some of them are mean. And
a lot of the memes are funny, and a lot of them are mean. Is this another person admitting to making horrible memes at developers and finding it amusing? Oh my goodness, guys, what? Guy, whoever he is, Thy Ashes, I'm not just saying it about him. Most of the people that are playing Gears Esports, right? They're not playing Gears Esports because they love it. Like, yeah, they kind of love it in the sense that they love it because they're good at it. But they're mostly pros at Gears because there's no other game that they can be pro at. And the reason they're even pro in Gears is because it's not even a real scene. There's no ladders. There's no MMR. There's no Grandmasters. There's no League of Legends MMR. There's nothing going on. You're just playing against random Billy Bobs and Joes. And you kind of hit a skill ceiling because there's nobody good to practice against, and they just are the only guys that can be bothered to turn up to the tournament because they can get the week off work. Like, if this suddenly blew up to be like $100 million industry, $500 million industry, $1 billion industry like League of Legends, and every sponsorship in the sun came to Gears and Korean teams were moving into gaming houses to play Gears 5, bro, these pros won't survive, man.
This is not how you bring us together. This is not how you make a successful esport. And by all means, if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm sure that the sales have been great. I'm sure that you guys have had a lot of positive feedback. Hell, I've given positive feedback. But right now, the things and the decisions that are happening and taking place are not acceptable where it needs to be.
I would be very interested, because I can't be asked to ask anybody in the pro scene. I wonder what the pro scene's idea of like perfect tuning would have been. Bro, can you imagine being a coalition employee and like you go into work in the morning and like penciled in is like, hey, Dana, from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. today you're going to be in the pro only Gears Discord looking at their feedback. Yeah, can't see why that didn't take off.
Let's do it. You guys have web developers. I'm sure I can Google a YouTube video on how to make a forum site and I'll do it.
The way they talk, man. You guys have got web developers build a forum. Like, he's like, hey, Microsoft, just build us a fucking forum for like these 20 dudes. Like, not just add a section on the Gears forum. Like, that when you... Like, here's the thing as well. Like, on League of Legends, when you become a pro, you kind of get, like, a specific pro-based account. You might be able to use that pro-based account to log into some, like, forum where only pros can... How do you verify who a Gears pro is? Is it just going to a tournament? Because if it's just going to a tournament and competing for money, which makes you a pro, anybody could be a pro.
Let's figure this out.
If this was in the beginning of Gears 5, he was in a big org. There were no big organizations in Gears 5, mate. I still don't believe. I believe that esports was dead from the start, mate.
Because I would rather see you guys take your time and actually achieve the balance that you're trying to do with the movement, and then show us that. Let us test that. Let us play that. Put it on a single playlist. These issues will go away.
Oh man, it's actually wild listening back to this. It's very like, I used to say that the pros were like kind of full of themselves, but holy shit, like it's constantly like, yo, if you'd have just listened to the pros, your game would have been good. Like, being a pro doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean you know anything about balance. I know they might like to think that, but it's just not true. Now, you might be able to say what you dislike and what you like, but it's an entirely different skill set. Like, you, I don't know, call up some 16-year-old Gears pro now and be like, can you explain the nuances of all the balance? Like, you're saying that just because he's a pro, he's going to give the best answer out of anyone? This was kind of the only content you would get from a pro. And it was like, you just get this. It would just be some footage of a scrim. Like, you're not, like, it doesn't really excite you. Like, going to watch this video, you're not like, oh wow, Gears pro scene's amazing, let me go and watch this. Like, it's just not great. Anyway, I'm gonna eat some food for a little bit. Maybe I'll play a video, turn my cam off and eat some food for a bit. We're just chilling out before we probably play StarCraft or something. Yeah, I just wanted to watch that video.